All things Gators, all things orange and blue. Dan Hicken and Frank Frangie. What's up, Hick?
A lot is going on, and we thank our friends at Southeast Orthopedic Specialists here in Jacksonville. Visit se-ortho.com for all the information that you need if you're having any kind of pain in your knees or ankles or shoulders or elbows. Yeah. Those guys will take care of you and take care of you expeditiously. So the bowl game comes and goes.
Yeah.
All year on this podcast, we talked about how much fun we're having.
Right.
That wasn't fun, Frank. I almost texted you and said, I'm not really having fun watching this debacle.
Yeah, and I'm probably a bad fan. You can feel free to admonish me because I've admonished you plenty on this stuff.
Yes.
So feel free. I don't know if I'm getting older or it's because I'm getting older. I guess I'm getting older. I don't know if it's because I'm getting older. That one didn't devastate me. It wasn't any fun.
I told you they were going to lose.
You did, and you don't want to see your team get rolled.
And I saw it coming from a mile away.
But I guess once I realized who wasn't playing, that it was going to be hard for them to win the game. I did want it to be more competitive, but I didn't walk away from the game mad at Mullen, mad at them. I didn't feel that way. Maybe I should have because a lot of my Gator buddies did now.
Yeah.
And so maybe I'm in the minority here, but that is how I felt.
Gator Nation gets pissy with when they lose.
Yeah.
And when they lose big, they get really pissy.
Right.
And when they lose 3 in a row to the end of the season, that's the disappointment. As opposed to how he probably sees it, which we went toe-to-toe with Alabama. We lost by 6 points. What more do you want?
Yeah.
While they want to win the SEC, they want to trade punches with Bama and beat them. And he feels like he's probably getting them there. He's probably feeling a little bit unloved right now. But Dan Mullen is, of course, who we're talking about. I'm not going to admonish you. I didn't feel awful. I saw it coming, so I was sort of prepared.
Right.
But I feel like you take your lead from the coach, and I feel like the coach, from the moment the SEC championship game ended,
right,
there was sort of excuses being made.
He said this team will never be together.
Yeah, and I didn't like that.
Yeah.
I didn't feel like that. Where as opposed to the first 2 bowl games where I felt like, there was a lot at stake, and it's still it would be nice to win all 3 those New Year's Day 6 bowls and then make the next step. They got rolled. Oklahoma looked to me like sort of like Ohio State for Clemson.
Yeah.
And you remember how Justin Fields had a huge game against Clemson. You remember how they were saying, well, he didn't have Chris Olave for the other 2. Well, Trask was without 4.
Well, and see, that was the thing.
Yeah.
For me, I didn't care that they got beat in the game. I didn't care. I should. Even Oklahoma fans got on me. Well, I don't care, Oklahoma fan. It didn't bother me that much. What concern? I mean, I thought they had a great year. When you take Nick Saban, when Nick Saban is sweating in the last minute of the game, thankful the game ended, you're pretty good.
Yeah.
I mean, Nick Saban doesn't spend a lot of moments in the last hoping his team holds on.
Yeah.
So it was a good year. It wasn't a great year. I told you this before the game. Even if they lost 3 in a row and finished 8-4, it wouldn't be a pedestrian year to me. It'd be a good year that they just didn't finish well. So losing the game, I'm okay with. And I'm going to talk about a couple plays in the game in a minute.
Okay.
What concerns me isn't the game; it's next year. Those receivers were terrible. What concerns me is who's catching. I mean, and look, Xavier Henderson and Frazier's are going to have a year with Nick Savage, and they're going to be bigger and stronger because they both look very thin to me. And they'll be
Copeland will be back. Zipper is going to be good. He had a big drop, but
that was the biggest play of the game.
I know.
I was going to tell you that the biggest play of the game. It's 24-13.
Yeah.
3 minutes to play in the half. Florida's got a little momentum.
Yeah.
3rd down, post pattern.
Yeah.
Right on the button.
Right.
Catch it. It's 1st down at the 20.
Sure.
2.5 to play.
Yeah. You get the touchdown.
It's 24-20. You're getting the ball.
Half.
Worst case, it's 24-16. You're getting the ball.
Right.
That was a gigantic drop.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought Shorter dropped some. Zipper dropped some others. Gamble couldn't catch anything, and I'm wondering that. I mean, as you move forward, it's new now.
Yeah.
Emory Jones is going to be your quarterback.
Yeah.
He and Richardson will battle it out. New receivers. I mean, Heggie's gone. Forsyth is gone. This is DeLance is gone, even though he wasn't that good.
Yeah.
This is new now. So when it's going to be new, I wanted to see the guys who are part of that newness play well. That's what concerned me the most.
But it's great that they got out there and played.
Oh, I agree.
And in a football team, as you know, and one of the things I was thinking about is, as a football team, as you know, the kid who's the backup is never happy.
Right.
I don't care where you are. And I should be playing. So in one respect, well, you played and look how you did. So maybe you shouldn't have been playing. So maybe you better work your ass off this this offseason if you want
to
play to the standard that we expect around here. I mean, there's at least a little of that going forward.
That's what concerned me the most.
You don't think the guys replacing the guys who are there are going to be good enough next year to compete?
The evidence suggests
and win.
They're not. No, I know there's more to it than that.
Yeah.
It was one game, and they didn't practice very much.
I got in this argument with somebody, so you tell me, how did you think Emory did?
I thought Emory was just okay.
See, I thought he was better than that.
Yeah, but I'm not worried about Emory.
Okay.
Okay, I'm not thinking, oh my God.
He's not doing what Trask did. You have to remember that this was a transcendent offense.
Yeah.
This was a 96, 08,
yes.
20 offense.
Yeah, and look, for me, I thought Emory was just okay, but that's not fair.
Right.
I hear you.
If Shorter catches the one down the sidelines and he laid it right in his hands for about 40.
And I think when it's Emory's team, he's going to be pretty damn good.
Yeah.
I'm not worried about quarterback.
I'm not either.
I just want the receivers. I mean, I'm thinking that here when you go 3 wide on a tight end next year, I'm assuming it's going to be Copeland, Frazier, Henderson, maybe Rick Wells, Whittemore, and Gamble, and
I can't imagine Rick Wells is back for another year.
What else is he going to do?
Well, I don't know.
I mean, he's got
how many years is he going to be there?
Yeah, but I mean, he's not going to the league. But whoever it is, I just worry a little bit about the. Now look, he's found offense no matter where he's been.
Yeah,
he's found offense, so I think he'll find it. But that concerns me.
Let's hope that the Clemson transfer running back is a player.
Correct.
Right?
Yeah. Apparently, what I think the defense will be better. I'm going to get to the 2 assistant coaches. It's got to be a little bit better.
Can't be worse.
Apparently, the JUCO linebacker, DeJuan Black, is one hell of a player.
Who wants to be there?
Yeah, he's going to be there. I mean, apparently he's one hell of a. Apparently, they'll build the linebacking core around him.
Good.
So apparently he's a really good player. I like that Zachary Carter's coming back.
Yep.
I think Kyrie Elam's a good player.
Well, the kid from Palmetto will probably start a corner.
You would think.
He's awful good by all accounts. So.
Yeah. So you hope the defense is better.
Wouldn't have minded getting the kid from Jacksonville on Saturday. He chose Ohio State.
Yeah, I know. I saw that. But hey, let me tell you this.
Yes, sir.
I'll say this. It was a really good year. It had some holes.
Yeah.
You know, the Malik Davis fumble.
Beat Georgia and won the East.
Correct. Georgia. Well, yes. Beat Georgia and won the East. But Dan, I think what he has now done is he's elevated them into the land of the elite.
Yeah.
They were not elite for a long time.
I think Florida's a top 10 program.
Right.
We want them in the top 4. The college football playoff's been around a while. It's time for Florida to break through and get in there. But there's a bigger story here that's bubbling that we need to address that you need to get to.
And I'll get to that one second. Before I get to that bigger story, I was on with Shane Matthews today, his podcast, and I said,
Frank, how you doing?
Shane's my boy. I love Shane.
He's a great man.
But he asked me. He said, "Are you concerned about this and depth?" I said, "Shane," I said, "I think there's 129 FBS programs. I think that's the number.
Mm-hmm.
I think Florida's program is in better shape than 123 of them.
Okay.
I think that's pretty good.
That's pretty good.
Okay, if you're in better shape than 123 of the 129, and your coach is only in his 3rd year, you're probably pretty good. Now, the gap between where Alabama, Clemson, Ohio State, maybe even Georgia is...
Those 3. I'm not putting Georgia there.
So, the gap between those 3, and there might be Georgia, Notre Dame, Oklahoma, that I'm not saying you're even with yet, but whoever.
Right.
My point is, you're right there.
Mm-hmm.
You're right there. You're in the top 6 or 7 programs playing. I truly believe that. And next year's a critical year because next year's his first real transition year.
Yeah.
There was still the 20 team felt like the 19 team. The 19 team felt like the 18 team.
Yeah.
The 21 team will feel different.
Yeah.
This is his first real transition team, at least for me.
I don't disagree with that. All right. You want to talk about the head coach or the assistants first?
You go.
My question to you is this. I'll start it with a question. Does Dan Mullen want to be the coach at the University of Florida?
Yeah, I think he does.
Okay.
I think Dan's an ornery guy.
There's no doubt about that.
Is Dan going to one day be in the NFL? I think so.
Yeah.
Most of the coaches who flirt with it, Steve Spurrier, Jimmy Johnson, Dennis Erickson, Pete Carroll, pick your guy, wind up trying it.
Does he feel unappreciated at the University of Florida from his vantage point?
I don't know him well enough to know that.
Yeah.
He's a smart guy, though, too.
Yeah.
He's the coach at the University of Florida.
Yeah.
He's not Steve Spurrier yet.
Right.
Okay. He's not Urban Meyer yet.
Right.
So he's not a guy that can. Steve Spurrier earned the right to say, I'm going to try the NFL. It had been 12 years. He had 6 titles. He had a national title. Urban Meyer earned the right to walk away. However he walked away, he had 2 titles. Dan Mullen isn't that yet.
Tell me Gator fans' temperature towards Dan Mullen.
Yeah, I think, and I was texting back and forth with a buddy of mine who's a Gator fan today too, who's all upset about this, and you got to hire Travaris Robinson, and shame on him for doing this. And I said, be careful.
Yeah.
The guy had the same record as Spurrier and Meyer after 32 games.
Right.
Be careful you don't become the school that always hates your coach.
I sort of feel like that's where we're headed.
Yeah, and it can be very careful that you're not the school that always hates your coach. This guy's pretty good.
Yeah.
He's not perfect.
Right.
He handles some things poorly, but he's pretty good. He can learn and grow and get better too. So I would tell you, be careful. Now, having said that, Matt Hayes, who wrote a story in Saturday Down South that just published this morning.
Yes, Monday morning.
Monday morning,
Mm-hmm.
and Matt and I spoke a little bit as he was writing it. And he told me, he said, look, he said, the administration's not happy.
Right.
There's a belief outside of the school with the NCAA and even internally that Mullen knew what he was doing in Seattle. That he texted the kid, that he told the kid he'd be there.
Florida's on probation for the first time in 30 years.
In 30 years.
It's not a huge deal.
Yeah, but it's a show cause.
But yes.
Which is the NCAA's way. A show cause is the NCAA's way of saying, hey, this isn't a slap on the wrist.
Yeah.
And so it's not a huge deal. They're not losing.
It should be a slap on the wrist. Frank, listen again, and I don't want to go into the NCAA and how, but I will say this. My son played on a 7v7 team last year. Now the rules changed, but when they went to New Orleans, they stopped at LSU.
Right.
They stopped at Tulane.
Right.
And they were welcomed and shown around, and that's what they. I mean,
they
now it's a different rule now, but I mean, it's not a huge.
Yeah, and I get it, but I think there's two different things.
But that's one of many incidents, Frank. There's been a few other ones that you need to talk about.
The 7-on-7 in Gainesville's one. His trip to Seattle's another one. That's the one.
No, I mean, I'm talking. There's other incidents that Mullen had, like the way
A&M,
the Missouri game and
the
A&M game, and asking for 90,000 during a pandemic.
And I think I've talked to Scott about this. Yes. Scott Strickland's a great agent,
right?
And he will handle it,
right? So
my guess is, and again, I don't have any information on this, but my guess would be Scott Strickland, who's such a reasonable guy and he's really good, by the way. Do you know Scott very well?
Not real well.
Really
very nice man, though.
Really good.
Has done a great job.
Well respected all around college football. Done a great job. Will continue to do a good job. He's the right guy to manage Mullen because
he knows him.
He knows
him as well as anyone's gonna know him.
And here's why he's the right guy. He's firm, but he's not a hothead.
Right.
Dan's a hothead.
Right.
So you can't have hothead and hothead. Two hotheads, it's not going to work.
Yeah.
Scott is not a hothead. That doesn't mean he's a pushover or he's soft, because he's neither.
Right.
But he's not a hothead. I think he will bring Dan in at the end of the season, if not already, and say, listen, okay, here's where we are. We love you.
Yeah.
We want you to be the coach here for the longest time.
Right.
I want to support you. We're trying to build the facility. We're trying to get everything you want. But there's three things we're going to have to talk about.
Right.
We're going to have to talk about the 90,000 at A&M.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk about inciting the riot at Missouri.
Yeah.
We're going to have to talk about some of this stuff. We're going to have to talk
even
about
the comments after the bowl game and the things that he said there that didn't.
That one didn't bother me as much as
that's not terrible, but again, it was handled wrong.
I agree, and I want Dan Mullen to say, Scott, you're right.
Right.
We all need to grow up.
Right.
This was an emotional year.
Right. With
the fights we had, not the fights, but the battle all of college football had with the COVID and playing games and how hard our guys worked, and we thought we had something special here, and we were so close. It was emotional for all of us, but I hear you. You're the boss, and I think you're right. And I think that I'm not worried about that. Do the Jets have some interest in him? Sounds like it.
Yeah, I can't believe for 1 second, just my opinion, I don't know anything, that the Jets would hire Dan Mullen.
I don't think so. Not today.
No, not yet.
Today. No. And so I think Dan Mullen's going to be the Florida coach next year. I think he wants to be the Florida coach. He's got to hire 2 assistants.
See, Ryan Day came out and immediately squashed any kind of talk about him going to the NFL.
Right.
Ryan Day's name was mentioned on Sunday.
Right.
By Sunday morning,
right.
the insiders, Adam Schefter's and of the world, saying Ryan Day is not a candidate to go to the NFL.
Right.
Dan Mullen hasn't done that.
Yeah, and I don't think I think he'll be the guy that doesn't.
I agree.
I think that's
Spurrier wouldn't do it either.
Correct. Billy Donovan didn't do it.
That's right.
I think you're gonna have to. I've said this for over a year now.
But again, those guys had a little bit. I know Dan Mullen had the same record.
I agree. A
little bit better.
They had
pedigree.
done more when it started. No,
resume a little more.
When
impressive.
it started happening, they had done more.
Yes.
But I said this. I said the good of Billy Donovan was he was great.
Yeah.
The bad was you always knew he was trying the NBA at some point. The good of Steve Spurrier is that he was great. The bad is you always knew he was trying the NFL at some point. I think Dan Mullen is not great yet, but really good.
Mm-hmm.
It might be great.
And might try the NFL.
But he's going to try the NFL. Yeah. The guys that are rumored to do it always try it. David Shaw is an exception at Stanford.
Yeah.
But most of the guys who are rumored to try the NFL eventually try.
I think there's probably some truth to that.
Yeah. So putting a wrap on football, I think.
I want to talk about the assistants.
Okay. Go ahead.
Well, I mean,
two guys.
Yeah. Well, okay. So he fired 2 secondary coaches, and is
Ron English and Torian Gray.
Right, and is choosing to keep Grantham.
Right. All right. Okay. Go ahead.
I know a Florida fan. I don't. Grantham did have the 8th best defense in the country 2 years ago. I know Dan's extremely loyal. Got no problem with that part of it. I also know Florida fans, though. And next year, in whatever game it happens, and when it happens, they're going to lose their minds when... You understand, Todd Grantham gave up over... It's a different world now. I understand that. Todd Grantham gave up more than 600 yards 3 times this year. Previously in Gator history, twice. It's happened. Okay. It was an awful year defensively.
Right.
I mean, if you go back to the first touchdown pass with Oklahoma, and number 13,
Steiner,
is shaded in, and the kid's got the whole half a field to run to, and you could just tell that. I'm pretty sure that we wouldn't want that kid standing there. Them not getting lined up yet. Still, you wonder how could you have an 8th ranked defense in the country and be this bad the following year?
Well, I got the bunch.
So let's start with Grantham. Why is he coming back?
Okay. Well, let me ask you this. Let me answer your question with a question.
Okay.
Do you think Todd Grantham's a bad coach, or he's a coach that had a bad year? Because he clearly had a bad year.
Right.
That's not just bad players. Is he a bad coach? Or is he
I think there's an MO with him, and it's sort of. I think it's
year 3.
Yeah, like at all the other places, he start out like a house of fire, and then gets a little progressively.
Because here's what
worse. So I don't know.
And one thing I like about Dan Mullen, that feistiness about him, no one's going to tell him who to fire.
That's correct.
And I think he believes Grantham's a good coach.
Yeah.
Had a bad year.
Yeah.
And didn't have any good players.
Right.
That's what I think he believes. I'm okay with that. I know fans love to fire the coach.
Oh, sure they do.
Fans love to hang the coach.
Sure they do.
They love to shoot the coach. Every fan loves to get rid of the coach.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think they were 8th in the country in defense. And by the way, that's not with Alabama level NFL guys.
No.
Okay, it's not like they were 8th in the country in defense.
Right.
And 10 guys went in the first round.
Right.
They had Zuniga, who may be okay in the NFL. They have Grenard, who's an NFL backup and probably projects to be
really good college players.
Great. Oh, very good college players. But my point is...
No, that's fair.
Yeah, so it's not like he was loaded with first-round draft picks.
Right.
And they were 8th in the country in defense in an offensive era.
Did have a first-round pick at corner.
He did. who was okay. Wasn't great. So my point is, I would not fire Grantham.
Okay.
Now...
You would not fire him?
I would not.
Right.
Now, I want to see the year. Now, he's got... I would tell him, we can't do this again.
Yeah.
We can't have all these blown coverages.
Yeah.
But they have not been blown coverage under him.
No.
They haven't.
They were this year,
they
but
were.
not previous.
So I'm okay
fair.
with them not firing him. They need more ballers on defense, bro. They got to get some of those 4s and 5s.
Yeah.
Gervon Dexter needs to be what he's supposed to be.
Yep.
They need him. This guy, DeJuan Black, has to be great.
Yeah. Kid from Palmetto's got to be great.
Kid's got to be great.
Yep.
Kyer Elam's got to take the next step.
Yep.
They got to. They want. I mean, in all due respect, they've had a lot of games with Chester Kimbrough and Jaden Hill.
Yeah.
And Donovan Steiner.
Yeah.
And
Stewart.
And Brad Stewart's a little better, but
yeah.
a lot of guys back there. Remember now,
Sean Davis.
Sean Davis actually might be the most talented of all of them.
Yeah.
But listen now. There's been a lot of. There's an awful lot of guys over the years, guys like Brian Poole, guys like Marcus May, guys like Ken O'Neill, that all became good NFL players.
Yeah.
This group isn't that.
Okay.
This is not a group of good NFL players back
right.
there. Do you agree or disagree?
I would tend to agree.
Yeah.
They don't look special. So, what of the deposed defensive back coaches?
Yeah. The word, and again, judged by Matt Hayes, I think the word is that, and the belief is that they were caught up in the recruiting thing.
Yeah.
And they had to go. I'm not even sure Mullen's the one that pulled the plug.
Mm-hmm.
At least that's what the implications are. Travaris Robinson's out there.
Yeah.
He's really great recruiter, pretty good coach too.
Yep.
He's both. He's recruiter.
Go get him.
Everybody think, and here's why I think it's kind of significant to get him. back to your fan thing.
Mm-hmm.
That's a name the fans.
They know. Yeah.
Fan. You know who fan? I say that.
Might steady the ship a little bit.
I tell everyone asks me who the Jaguar fans are gonna hire as a coach, and we're doing this show on Monday morning.
Yeah.
When we tape this podcast, it's a Jaguar thing. Doug Marrone just got fired, so they'll talk about who the next coach will be.
Right.
I say this all the time. You know who fans want? Someone they've heard of.
No doubt about it.
Every fan, you ask fans who they want.
Because I'll give you a perfect example. I was laying around on January 1st, flipping on the old Peach Bowl.
Yeah.
And I learned, even though it's not, is it the Peach Bowl still?
Still called the Peach Bowl.
And I learned a lot about a certain defensive coordinator from Cincinnati.
Right.
I didn't know a damn thing about him.
Now you know what he is?
Now I know, and I heard all this stuff, and I'm like, oh, he'd be a good fit at Florida.
Correct.
But guess where I hear he's going to be a fit at now? LSU.
Well,
so I'm like, well, what are we doing?
But guess what he just became?
A
guy you've heard of.
Right, exactly.
Fans want guys they've heard of, and Traveris Robinson is the guy. So we'll see. So that's football.
Yeah.
They'll hire 2 coaches. I think they had a good recruiting year. Next year's a transition year.
Yeah.
Next year the team looks and feels different.
Okay, so it's so early. I don't want to do this.
Do it anyway.
Well, the expectation. What should the expectation be in Florida with Dan Mullen?
Yeah.
If Dan Mullen, you got to go. You know, what do? Do you win the East again?
I think the expectation needs to be you and Georgia battle it out for the East.
Play for the title.
Yes,
play for the division.
Think if you haven't gotten there, then he has failed.
Yeah.
If you're going to drop back to being 7-5,
right,
and behind Georgia and Kentucky,
yeah,
then you fail, or whoever.
I would agree.
Then you fail. So,
right.
So the expectation needs to be it's lofty.
By the way, I again, you know me, I'm bullish on Emory Jones.
Yeah,
I think he's going to be a good football player.
I do too.
Did he have a couple bad throws? Yeah, but I also saw.
I'm not worried about Emory.
I'm telling you, and again, is he going to throw for 4,400 yards? No. But can he throw for 3,000 yards? Yes.
And rush for 800.
Exactly.
Yeah,
exactly.
I totally agree with you. So that's football.
Yep.
Quick thought before we get out of here.
Like
the basketball team.
Proud of them.
What a gutsy, tough.
Proud of them.
Yeah, I am too.
So happy for Mike White and the kids and Keontae being there Saturday afternoon.
100%.
It was fun. Now, at 78-70, I was starting to count my chickens, and I said, well, they made it a little bit hairy.
When Locke missed the 3 at 78-70, and Lewis gets the rebound, you got to kick it out.
Yeah.
That's a young player.
Yeah.
Instead of trying to put it back up,
right.
That's another 30 seconds.
But the big story with the hoop team, you can name all the names you want, is the Castleton kid. I mean, I thought he would get. Look, he had a good game. Before everything,
right?
But to go against LSU, get 2 quick fouls, right. I'm like, I figured this is who he's going to be.
Correct.
He's going to get pushed around in the conference, and then to come out and outscore the LSU team in the beginning of the second half was quite impressive.
He's a good player.
He's good.
He's a center. You don't
have any centers anymore. He's good.
DeRugi's good.
DeRugi, yes.
And so I will tell you this. They have a 7-man rotation.
Yeah.
The starters plus Appleby and Payne.
Yeah.
They're pretty good.
Yeah.
If Keontae was there, that 8-man rotation would be really good.
Yeah.
It would be really good. But hey, you know what? Again, we do this on Mondays.
Yeah.
I don't know when you're going to be listening to it, but they play Alabama on Tuesday and Kentucky on Saturday.
Yeah.
I'm excited about where they are.
Got the schedule down, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm the hoop reporter.
Hoop guys,
I'm the podcast basketball beat reporter.
That's well done.
Folks, that is our podcast. That's All Things Gators, All Things Orange and Blue.
Yeah, and thank you, Southeast Orthopedic Specialists, best in the business. You can visit se-ortho.com for all the information you need to know if you need some help. Have a great week, Frank.
You too, Eric.